and I'd like to take this time to give thanks to the niggas that doubted me. Because without them, I wouldn't be a fraction of the man I am now, and I'm continuously thankful to keep balling on these niggas' foreheads. And I'm gonna let Future take care of the rest. Boys, there hasn't been a single year in the last, I'd say at least 3 years, I haven't 5x my income, regardless of the bullshit and fuck thrown my way. And that's because I'm over analytical. You don't. You don't. The utter degree that some men will go to gargle another man's balls with mouthwash is absolutely ridiculous.
Well guys, it has only been 11 days since we entered 2026, and surprising to nobody, Pubes Watson is continuing to just take consistent L's just like he did last year right off the bat. Like, all of the soul glow in the world at this point has not been able to protect our chia pet looking friend here from John Bravo or the repo companies. And at this point, the shit is just getting absolutely embarrassing. So with that said, we're just gonna jump straight on into this shit and look at all of the recent goofy actions from our pube-headed friend here, along with all of the shit that John Bravo just brought to light and how it contradicts everything that this guy has rebranded himself into, and a couple of things that he said and tried to flex. And the last time that we did cover Pubes Watson, funny enough, it was actually discussing how John Bravo exposed him the first time for renting his apartment, and we basically reviewed his little response video to John, which involved pretty much no proof at all and just some screenshots that looked like they were easily faked, and just involved him doing a whole lot of yapping without actually providing any substance whatsoever. And since then, the clown has been up to a whole lot of goofy ass activities, where he has not only decided that he was going to change up his hairstyle recently by using a headband.
Boys, I'm not gonna lie, I've now transcended my old hairstyle, right? I did this just as an accident. I was like, hey, listen, I just want to work and get to it. And I made a business decision that we're now rocking with headbands.
And on top of this, when he hasn't been finding a way to somehow make his already awful hairstyle look even worse, he's also decided that he was going to go ahead and start practicing his Spanish and posting it on his Instagram stories, before naturally going on to bitch about the haters and to talk about how they just don't understand.
Hermano, a la verga, hermano. You know, boys, listen, they see the life, they see Miami, they see the super, the hypercars, and they hate. And that's because they don't know the pain that went into it. They don't know the grind that went into it. The midnight gym sessions, the 4 or 5K calorie a day bulks off of TV dinners and fast food because that's all I could afford. You know, they don't see me penny pinching, talking to the bros about how we're going to be something great someday. Only I saw that. Only I saw the vision. And, you know, when you make it, they call you a genius. When you're grinding, they call you delusional. And you got to keep going.
So as you can see, he was just up to the typical alpha male business of looking like a dumbass every chance he gets before crying about the haters and talking about supercars and how he's not delusional. But along with this, he's also been in a different type of business, which is the business of getting exposed by fucking everybody. Especially when it came to his little supercars and hypercars, as he was just talking about. Because it appears he forgot to mention something that was very important, which is the fact that his supercar just got repoed for him not making the payments. And not only was it one car, but it ended up actually being 2. And the Instagram account Baller Busters was actually the first ones to bring this to light, where they stated that Vincent Fischer, aka Squid Hair, is having a bad week. His Scion was repossessed today. We can't disclose the source, but the information is 100% verified. And it was another Cario Motors failure, aka that one dealership that all of these different alpha males like Vincent Fischer and Wes Watson are constantly getting cars from. But then on top of that, they also revealed that little old Vincent here was trying to hide it in his fucking dad's garage. And they're also hunting down his girlfriend's car, the Urus that he was always flexing, which he is hiding as well. So the motherfucker was behind on his payments and hasn't been getting enough clowns to subscribe to his little bullshit classes. And Baller Busters then went on to expose him further by showing their proof, along with stating that he had lapsed insurance, with the repossessed Scion, with a suspended driver's license, and on top of that, he's hiding his girlfriend's truck to avoid another repossession. So all of this was already some insane work from the guy we just saw try to respond to John Bravo by claiming that he was making over $500,000 a month. But naturally, the exposing was of course not over, because not only did John Bravo just bring to light what I just showed from Baller Busters, but he also decided that he was going to dig into it deeper, and ended up actually reaching out to the dealership that repossessed the car.
So after, I read this, I said, you know what? I gotta find out, is this legit? I mean, I trust Baller Busters, but I gotta see it with my own eyes before I talk about it, right? So I went and I contacted the source themselves, Corio Motor Cars, and I can't discuss exactly what our conversation was. But what they did tell me is, on Monday, that green Cyan Lamborghini Vincent Fischer's, it's gonna be on the sales room floor. So if you guys want it and you're interested in it, just go and contact Corio.
So yeah, it doesn't get much more embarrassing than this. Not only has he been exposed for renting his penthouse that he pretended like he owned, but on top of that, he's now being exposed for not actually being able to afford these cars that he's been trying to use as tools to show that he actually has a lot of money. And that's the only reason I can figure that he did this, because if you look at a lot of his prior videos, he had basically just rebranded everything into him owning this car, and it seems that it was like a last-ditch effort to save his online coaching bullshit courses, because he had been posting countless videos about how he was the only 22-year-old to own a $3.5 million car, which he then flipped into him doing this whole little sales pitch, trying to convince other people to sign up to his courses.
Now, if this deal pulls through, I might be the only 22-year-old in the world that has a $3 million plus hypercar. Now, I'm going to give you guys a hint. There's less than 100 of these made in the world. It's over 3 million. Let me know what your guesses might be. Well, boys, the deal is officially complete, guys. We just purchased a $3.5 million hypercar at 22 years old. Now, guys, I know what you're probably thinking, another Miami guru buying a hypercar. But boys, it's crazy as fuck to think that 3-4 years ago, I was literally dead broke, begging people for $1 to take the city bus home or a ride. And now you guys just watched it come full circle. It's probably the craziest, stupidest shit I've ever done, but I got here doing crazy, stupid shit. Now, boys, we're going to pick it up later today. Guys, the hardest part about getting this deal done was the insurance, right? Like, who wants to insure a 22-year-old for a $3.5 million car? But we managed to get it done. So you guys, look forward to the reveal. And let's get a little bit different. I don't know if you guys are going to guess what it is, but you'll see. That entry point in that gap is going to be there. Because I scroll 3 rows down, I see another 17-year-old flexing $150,000 a month. A motherfucker like me buying a $3.5 million hypercar. I think now is the last opportunity to get into the online game before it's just the barrier to entry is too high. But I don't know how you can see shit like this online and just decide to be normal. You're just like, fuck that guy, he's different. Hi, boss. What the fuck?
So it almost seems like this whole little $3.5 million car thing was his last-ditch effort to not go broke, so he took a really big gamble and thought that it was going to help him get all of these other people to sign onto his course. But in reality, the shit must have just not worked at all, because not only did it get taken, but they're coming for the Urus as well. And I believe this to be the case further, because John Bravo then went on to expose him even more and brought up the fact that his card got declined when he was trying to buy a $3 water bottle, and that he was out here eating fast food with his little Russian girl that he had been paying to stay with him.
So back to my spies. These spies, happened to see him around, out and about. Remember that video they sent me of him in the pool trying to record a video, and he looked like this little jerk off, taking take after take after take? Well, those same spies happened to see that when he went to the gym one day, right, and he tried to buy a bottle of water, it got declined. And not only that, right, $3, his debit card got declined. But not only that, his membership too. So this piece of shit hasn't been able to pay his gym membership, even a $3 water. I was like, what's going on? Because after that, they sent me footage of him and his shamuta in he used to take her to these fancy restaurants, but all of a sudden now, he's feeding her fast food. So what's going on? And also notice something in this footage. Look at them, right? Do they look like they're that interested in each other? I'm like, you know what? He must not be paying her enough, because when that camera's on, it doesn't look like she likes him that much.
So not only is this goober unable to pay to keep his fucking cars that he's constantly flexing, but he can't even pay for a water bottle or to even keep his gym membership, which is highly important in his life. And all he can do at this point is just continue to lie and continue to post things just talking about how he's making so much money, which was exactly what he was doing in that pink Urus before they started trying to repossess the fucking thing. And I would say it's only a matter of time before his Sharmuta ends up getting repossessed as well, since he's not going to be able to afford her for too much longer. But until that day comes, I guess we'll see him just sitting there being a passenger princess as she drives and talking about how he is 5xing his income every single year, even though he apparently can't afford anything at all. And it's not like it's just unimportant things, it's things that are obviously very important to him, like his prized possession, $3.5 million car, and like his gym membership, when it is his whole brand to sit there and be fit.
Boys, there hasn't been a single year in the last, I'd say at least 3 years, I haven't 5x my income, regardless of the bullshit and fuckery that's been thrown my way. And that's because I'm over analytical. When I win, I analyze why I won and how I can win more. When I lose, I analyze why I lost and how I can avoid it. And most people don't do that. They walk through life repeating the same exact loop, making the same exact mistakes. And that's what you need to avoid. A lot of people think success takes time and it's a grind and a journey. It takes time to find a winning blueprint. But once you have a winning blueprint, you could go from effectively nothing to millions of dollars.
And even though he's apparently over analytical, it seems that he couldn't analyze the fact that he wasn't going to be able to pay for this damn car that he's been bragging about nonstop. And you can kind of see at the end there where that was going, where he's talking about a blueprint, because the exact thing he wants you to do is buy into his blueprint. And this has been basically every single video that he has been doing on his channel recently, which is him going on some little rant at first where he's just lying about himself and lying about how much money he's making, or lying about how famous he is, before basically trying to get you to get into his courses so that you can also have your car repossessed and so that you can't afford a gym membership or a water bottle. And it is so just insanely desperate with how often he's doing it now and the type of ways he's going about doing it. And when he hasn't been starting it off like that, where he's just talking about how much money he is just making apparently. As I said, he's starting off with how most people won't know others' names and how people know his name and how you can go from being broke and a nobody to being rich and everyone knowing you. When in reality, people just know this guy for having pubes on his head and for being a fake alpha male dipshit that people laugh at.
Boys, not many people are going to get to experience what it's like to have a name. To where even if you leave the house and walk across the street for a split second, at least 3 to 5 people are going to go, yo, is that one dude? Yo, is that Vincent Fischer, bro? Yo, is that the guy that bought that Scion? Right? Because I remember a time specifically when nobody was watching. And I was just normal. When I was overlooked, underpaid, grinding alone, but I always knew in the back of my mind this was the story arc. I always knew these were the times that I would talk about. When I would walk a mile in Arizona heat to the city bus and sit there and get on the bus next to homeless people, I just knew there was something greater coming. And you need to have the exact same assumption for where you're at right now. Act like there's a camera on you at all times, and this is your documentary, bro. This is your story. And even through the ups and downs, these are all the trials and tribulations to build you into the man you're meant to become.
And instead of being the 22-year-old who bought a Scion, he's the 22-year-old that tried to finance a Scion and just ended up being unable to do it and lost it and tried to hide it. And there is a huge difference between being known as a dancing clown for others' amusement like he is and actually being known as respectable. And this is the type of shit you get when you do get famous by doing all the stupid shit he's doing. And his pitches have just been getting even more desperate as we get into 2026. And funny funny enough, they haven't been in his expensive cars or near them like they used to be, but rather on his rented balcony, as he's trying to push the same exact free courses that have been limited time for about a year now. And the same fucking courses that he claims are free, but in reality, it's the same thing that you're watching because I actually watch them. And it's just him trying to brag about how rich he is and how you can be rich too if you pay him.
Now, boys, I don't spend too much time on this side, but we're catching a quick tan. Now, the last tip I want to give you coming into 2026, and this is arguably the biggest mistake that I made in my own personal journey, was trying to do it all myself. A lot of the time, our biggest enemy is ego, because the biggest expense you have right now is not having the right information and knowledge. If you knew how to make $10,000 a month now, I mean, let's be honest, you would have done it already. Right? So your number one goal is finding the blueprint, finding the information, and that's exactly how you shortcut the process. It's called cutting the check for speed.
And we're just going to stop him there because I'm not going to sit here and hear him do the same little routine on his free course bullshit that we've heard 1,000 times and that he is posting at least twice a day now because he obviously needs the money. And it seems that he actually is going completely broke, and the downfall of good old Pubes Watson is just continuing to get more entertaining as John Bravo is exposing the shit out of him. And the link for John's video will be in the description, so make sure to go check it out, because there is a lot more that I didn't include. But if you enjoyed, please drop a sub and a like, and join the Saints Mafia, where we are exposing all of the grifters. And I'm out. Watching Vincent Fischer being unable to afford a basic $3 water bottle. In peace.
So I'm 19 years old and I feel like I'm behind amazing. When I was 19 years old, I had 3 cars paid off cash. I had a BMW i8, I had a Lamborghini Huracan Evo Spider, and I had a Rolls Royce Dawn. If you don't have any of those things, you're behind, right? And I would say I'm joking, I'm not. Because what does it benefit you to not think you're behind? If you were to think like, oh, I'm on perfect pace and, everything's playing out perfectly and I can just slack off. I mean, other 19-year-olds are playing video games anyway. It's fine. That's how you end up average. That's how you end up living an average life, never getting anything that you actually want. So it's best to have the assumption of, oh shit, I am behind. When I was 19 years old, I was comparing myself to people that were 40, 45. I mean, I still do that to this day because it propels my growth.